this is not the time to judge anybody. This is the time to support everybody because people's rides are going to look so different. And you might think that someone's gone off the deep end and is getting weird. I'm telling you, so many people in the beginning of 2024 are going to look so different in the beginning than the end.
Yeah.
And this is not an overnight thing. This is lifetimes. And this is just the permission slip year. This is such a permission slip year. And if you have it in you, step up because you could be someone else's permission slip. I do believe this is such an important year into the new earth that it's going to require people embracing their quote unquote weird, their medicine, and publicly, not behind closed doors, not with the two, three friends that they think will get it. You just share it and you let people receive where they can receive.
Salwa Owens. Salwa is a light code activator from Source, and she is on a mission to activate the masses and bridge worlds. Having launched her business in 2010 as a fashion designer working to empower women, Salwa's mission has divinely unfolded into a business that now empowers the integration of the mind, the body, and the soul. Hey, Thrivers, welcome back to Thrive with Sharon podcast with me, your host, Sharon Land. And I am a licensed holistic psychotherapist, as well as an international healer and best-selling author of The Healer's Journey. And I created this podcast as a way to bring people together. And one of the things that I always say when I'm prepping the guests to come onto the show is that I want everyone, meaning our community, people who are tuning in, to feel like they're at a really great vibey party and they happen to walk by me and today's guest, who I'm so excited to introduce you, who is talking about things that we just are very passionate about, and that you can come and join us and be part of the conversation. That we're not going to talk at you. We're not going to speak to you as though you don't understand, but we're going to have you join us in the conversation. And you might actually learn some new things. I'm sure I'm going to learn some new things today. And so, without further ado, I want to introduce you to today's guest, who is Salwa Owens. I actually was introduced to Salwa through a mutual friend, Samantha Joy. And Sam said to me, you are going to love her. And it was at the time when she was doing dance with the very last, I think, Fierce in the City that Salwa, a big production that Salwa put on. But Salwa is a light code activator from Source, and she is on a mission to activate the masses and bridge worlds. And that's really important. I can't wait to talk to her about that. And having launched her business in 2010 as a fashion designer working to empower women, Salwa's mission has divinely unfolded into a business that now empowers the integration of the mind, the body, and the soul. And that is speaking to my soul for sure. Salwa is a fashion designer. She's bridging soul expression to physical beauty, an impactful speaker, bridging humorous storytelling to spiritual wisdom, an ascension guide, bridging channeled energy work to embodied activation, and the creator of Divine Sweat, which I have participated in. We're going to talk about that today, bridging the world of physical through amplified life force energy. Salwa, I am so excited to have you here today. Welcome.
Thank you. I'm so excited. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm here. We made it happen. Divine timing. I know we were talking back and forth, and the timing really is divine.
It is. It's perfect. I mean, it really speaks into something that is something that both you and I have been working for many lifetimes, probably, to honor our inner knowing and this aspect of something that's even just beyond intuition. It's actually the being open to being in the flow of the universe and being in the flow of like the channeled guidance that we're here to receive and to help to disseminate and be the instrument to. And you just had this knowing. You were just like, I was like, hey, listen, I'd love to have you come. Like, it's not like it's only today. And
Right.
if you can't come today, you're not going to come. But you just had this knowing. And in the process of the time between then and now, you completely received, and have birthed this new portal cast, which I'm so excited to talk about.
love hearing the word. I'm like, it's official, even more official. The more people start saying it, like, yeah, I made a portal cast. When you say it to yourself and your guides speak to you, it's still in the etheric, but now it's like actually manifested because people are starting to talk about it. I'm like, all right, we did that. We're doing that. We're starting that.
Yeah. And you actually did start that. Your first episodes are out now, right?
Yeah, my first two are out. It was my first week, and I think I'm putting out the third because I literally got in my studio, hit record, and cranked out like 20 episodes. And I realized how much of this expression was just ready to come out. And I was in flow. I was in here till 3 in the morning. And then I was like, all right, maybe you're going to start looking a little tired, sister. Like you should go to bed. I could have kept going. I really could have. Yeah.
That's amazing, but that's really the true creative, right, in you, because I think that I can imagine that when you were doing like design and, creating some of your big events that you've done, that you just kind of created the preparation of the opportunity for things to come through. And then when they come through, they come through. You can't say, well, this is inconvenient, right? Like,
Right. When the channel's flowing, the channel's flowing. And I'm like, oh my God, the channel's been wearing the same outfit for 20 episodes now. The channel should change. But yeah, it was great. I mean, I really did not want to waste any time and take notes because my whole thing with the portal cast is no note taking, no, much like you, where you really do want to talk to people. It's the whole collective consciousness. And if I'm preaching at you, then we're no longer a collective. And I'm not your guru, you're your guru. And I just want to inspire you to connect with your guru within.
yeah, yeah. And I think you really do that so well. And so let's first talk about the portal cast since it's new
Okay.
and we've already kind of like teased it out a little bit. Tell us about tell us about all of it, right? So obviously I understand the connotation of portal, right? And portal cast, but just for our audience, if you can just kind of explain a little bit more about what a portal is to you, what the meaning is to you, and then the name of the actual portal cast.
Yeah. So when I received this assignment, I call my work's assignment. I'm sure you received that way too. It's like, okay, this is what you're doing next. And so I received the assignment. At first, I was a little resistant because I know so many amazing women, such as yourself, that have podcasts. And I'm just like, are you guys sure you don't just want me to go on these podcasts and support the ones that are already kicking ass? Because I want to always support. I don't always want to feel like I'm creating. And sometimes when you're on in your own business and you're your creator, you start to feel like, okay, I'm always cranking it out. Can I just support them? And they're like, no, you'll create this. And we sat with it and they showed me a way that'd be different. And the way that Wine and Spirits works is that we take these big why questions and wines and transmute them into spiritual understanding, which is the spirit, and also a little bit of laughter. I'm kind of a smart ass and I don't censor my personality because that is part of how I serve. That is part of how my heart opener that I offer people so that the things can land. And so they're like, no, it's all welcome there. And so the thought of bringing something in and transcending it and you leave different is how it's a portal. And Wine and Spirits, I was waiting to come up with a name. And I told my guys, I'm like, I don't want to come up with it. Show it to me. So I was at the grocery store with my kids and I was leaving the parking lot and I saw the liquor store and it was Wine and Spirits. And I was like, oh my God, that's the name. Wine and Spirits. But we're going to change the word to Y apostrophe N. And it was like, boom. And I asked the kids, I'm like, what do you guys think about this? They liked it. And my kids I use them as channels too. I like let my guys speak through them and they loved it. And once I had those pieces together, it was just like go time.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel really good knowing that I am doing it in a way that feels good to me. My energetic imprint has to be in everything. Autocorrect just loves me because I can't ever give things the traditional names. Like, are you sure that? I'm like portal cast. And
Yeah,
there's other
yes.
words that I change. I change words all the time. And like autocorrect just needs to understand that A, I'm not salsa. And B, I have all sorts of spellings for everything. That's me.
I totally get that. I know. And you know what? Now autocorrect is correcting correctly spelled out words to like these words that don't even exist at
Yeah.
all. So it doesn't it honestly, I think it's just something that we have to navigate, but I love the fact that you really have this cool connection with your kids. You're so open about being a channel. I think that, many people in our audience are curious about it because they have this knowing, they've had these experiences. I've worked with people where they had a belief that only certain people were able to channel or see things or have any of the, the clairs. And that as they continued in their own like expression journey of expression and all of the healing and all of the growth that goes along then with that, they started to have these experiences where they would get this message and it was like, tell my sister to look in the sock drawer, the one that has the broken bottom, because there's something stuck in the thing, right? And so it came to be true. And so it's like a transition of awareness and also of beingness that people get to transcend and live in the now moments. And so for you, I want you to kind of, help others to, I already see that you are, but I want you to maybe like speak into just that, radical acceptance of
Yes.
how things are, right? And
Yeah.
how
Well,
that came to you.
I think we're all born that way. And I think that we take an amnesia pill that the dose is proportionate to the life that you have to survive in and the house that you're growing up in. So
Mm.
some wiring that we're born into from family or whatever constructs kind of makes us have to adapt and shut parts of us off. So I don't believe necessarily, okay, for example, when people are like, your gifts and you're so lucky, I'm like, you have them too. You need to do the work of remembrance. Activation really is remembrance. Everything's within us. And why did we choose to shut them off is really part of the healing work. Why? It was some survival in some sort of place. Maybe it was trauma that made you have to shut it off because you were feeling too much. Whatever it is, it's there and it's the journey of remembrance. That's what activation is. And for me, I was blessed with a very mystical, weird childhood, as I've talked about with my like being Yeshua being my best friend, and then the aliens. And so I had occurrences that I couldn't deny. So I could choose to say, I don't believe in that, I don't believe in that, but then that would mean that I didn't see what I saw and I didn't experience what I experienced. So having those experiences really helped me to, even as I was married for about 20 years almost, or 15, dating six in a very traditional partnership. We were Christian, going to church and doing all the things. And so I kind of shut parts of myself off to be able to fit in that life and survive. But I wasn't thriving in my gifts. And it really wasn't until I left that relationship and I was politely asked by the church to no longer have my ministry there because being divorced, I was kind of like, quote unquote, not fit, damaged goods, and we'll call it that. And that was the gift of, wow, I mean, I get to take this connection now outside of this building. I get to serve outside of what is taught to me in this book. And there's no bashing to the building or the book, but it was a gift to expand, to think bigger, and to reconnect and explore what I had already experienced as a kid. So I think about people that maybe have the desire, but don't have actual experiences that they can be certain, okay, there's more out there. And I'm very passionate about gifting them that, no, I saw this, I experienced this, not because I want to feel special, but because I want to give them the proof that maybe they're waiting to have. Because if I saw it and I experienced it and I work with it, you can too. So that's really what drives me. I think about people that are trapped in their forgetting and they're asleep and they're suffering because of it at a soul level. And it's really, I feel like, a responsibility for those of us that have reawakened and activated certain gifts to lead the way for others to do the same because we rise together, not individually.
Yeah, 100%. And I think that just piggybacking off of what you said, there collectively, I believe that there was a time where we had to really survive circumstances as a collective community. And in that survival, we really um, chose to isolate. And that the survival and the ways that we were able to get through a lot of those really difficult, challenging, hard times, even though we might have been responsible for families and for businesses and whatever, we were very, very much closed off to the world and to ourselves, to our innerverse, right? And so now we have, many of us have transcended that time. We've had to go through those times of survival and really getting to know and discover ourselves in our own unique expression, right? That energetic fingerprint that we all have. And now we're realizing, as we're becoming more and more aware, more and more awake, that we get to really connect with people and see them shine and see ourselves in them and allow them to see us and feel safe. Uh, and and there's no more finish line anymore. You know, one of the things that I love about your journey is that there was no kind of finish line, right? You just honored where you were in the moment and what you were being called to do. And I really identify with that because many people, if they were to look at my, my resume, they'd be like, I don't get it, right? Like, I'm like, all roads lead to this, right? All roads have led to this, and it's perfect. But there's it in the classic old sense, right? Old historical sense, it doesn't make logical sense,
Right.
right?
Totally. To elaborate on that, my resume, my business plan, all of that comes from my cosmic design.
Yeah,
And that's already mapped out. And you only get the parts of that that you're ready for by showing up repeatedly, lifetime after
yeah,
lifetime, stepping into mission and not judging what it looks like. And so
yeah.
I love that you brought up the resume because I was just having this conversation, the business plan thing. And sometimes things don't make sense in the man-made plan because the God-made plan is so much grander, and we would actually rob ourselves of the opportunity to truly thrive and rise.
Oh God, yeah. I'm really receiving those words because it is so true that we really would rob ourselves. And that's where that bypassing comes into play, right? Where we have this notion, right? And it's not just our own chosen notion, but it's really, like you said, a lot of programming and grooming and collective consciousness and all of that stuff, which is still needing to shift. And that is that, you should be placed here, that you should be doing something here, you should be blah blah blah, whatever it is. And so many people want to kind of check the box, ring the bell, cross the line, whatever it is. And they it's like a shoots and ladder game. They kind of like bypass, they take a little like shoot into the space, right? And it's a manufactured shoot as opposed to a divine portal,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
And when we take that bypass, then we are completely robbing ourselves of the greater potential. And in the grand scheme of things, everything is always perfect, right? Because then we'll feel uncomfortable with our limits, right? We'll feel uncomfortable with, on some level, with where we're at probably in about 5 minutes. But I always say, like, when people want to work with me as a coach, or to help me with, I don't know, marketing something or whatever it is, um, they're like, okay, so can you please just answer these 6 questions, and then we're gonna, create this click funnel and whatever. And I'm just like, no.
I know. Yeah. Or people just wanting the answer and like, wow, did you know that finding your own answer is the gift?
Right,
Yeah.
right. And sometimes it's just that I don't necessarily need help with this. I need help with maybe like someone placing me in the energetic space so that we can then co-create together, which is, I think, that something that we all
Yeah.
can be doing a lot more. That's what we're doing right now, is we're co-creating, right?
Mhm. And it's
Mhm.
so fun. It's
It
great.
is. It's it really is so much fun. I mean, it your entire body lights up, right? All of your energy just lights up. You collectively have, you feel the support of your
Yeah.
tribe, right?
Yeah. I remember
Um,
when I was going through my divorce and I was really not tapping into my gifts like I could. Wasn't
mhm.
and I had these healer, psychic, whatever you want to call it, sessions, and three different ones. And all three were like, we can't tell you anything because you have a very strong channel. You should be reading for us. I'm like, okay, what a scam. I want my money back. Three people would not tell me anything. And I was like, is there something in my coding that like they picked up? And they wouldn't. And at the time I was mad because I really just wanted someone to be like, yes, you're on the right path. This is the right move. I wanted validation so bad, and I was so afraid to give it to myself because that didn't feel like enough.
Mm, hmm.
And, years later, I realized how important those three humans were on my path by not giving me the answer I thought I wanted. They gave me the gift that I was ready to step into, but it took somebody having the knowing to say no. Like this, we can't give you that. And I thought it was funny. I didn't know that that would ever happen three times, but now I'm so grateful. And I would never ask for my money back because I'm like, thanks, I got way more than what I asked for.
That's right. Exactly. I think we're so programmed to believe that like every time there's an ask that we have to overgive and we have this need to please. And that's one of the things that I do find that in being an intuitive, I never really advertise in that way because people automatically want to come and get the answers,
Well,
right?
they still do. I don't know about you, but I still get the friends that
Yeah.
ask, or like at the gym, like, oh, what are you picking up on this? And I'm just
Hmm.
like, we're not doing that here. I'm picking up that you are a sovereign being with your own channel. And if you go home, do the work and connect with your technology within, you will have the answer. You'll
That's
have it.
right. That's right. Yeah, exactly. And I think that, just because you have the ability to see, and for me, I have like the ability to see within people's bodies and disease and all of that stuff, right? And like not just see, but have a knowing. And there are some times when I just like there is just a complete curtain, right? And I trust that. I don't take that as there's something wrong with me or, oh gosh, maybe I'm losing my power or, whatever it is. I'm like, okay, got it. Thanks.
Mhm.
Right. And you
Yeah.
trust the journey. And then you also show the trust in the other individual. Right. And you say to them, I trust you. I
Yeah.
trust that this is your journey of your own self-discovery. Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
And like you said, to stop that seeking of validation outside of ourselves.
On that same note, because I'm curious if this happens to you, because it happens to me too, that at times, though, my guides do give me something that someone really needs to receive. And
Mhm.
it's just the sacred message that they have been really asking for, but haven't seen it in their
Yeah.
space. And there's a knowing when that's supported, but then there's a knowing when that's not. Do you know what I mean?
Correct. Yeah. Well, and that's where I always say you have to really check with whether or not, and you have to be in that space of discernment that where your ego is, right? Are you trying to alleviate somebody's pain, or is this just coming through and you're like, you can't not say it, right? And the way that you say it. And I a long time ago, I felt that, or I was of the belief that the only way that anything would come through is if I was like completely pure and pristine, right? Like, absolutely, like the chosen one. Don't drink, don't smoke, don't swear, don't this, don't that, right? And then I realized that we're all, I always knew that we're all the instrument, but I didn't connect the dots of, you know, the journey of being the instrument. And sometimes, things come through to people who are completely um, in denial, in lower vibration, and whatever it is, but they still receive the download. They still receive the input, and it's like the universe, God, source. Fill
Yeah.
in whatever the belief is of whatever you're called to understand, call it that. Whatever, when they're not knocking on your door, it's your time to be the instrument. We all
Right.
get to be the instrument, right? And so I do always discern, is this coming from a point of you needing to feel like you are um you have value
Mhm.
in the relationship, so you kind of have to give in this way? Are you seeking, are you projecting, are you, because all of those other things come into play for sure. But when you receive it and it, you say it.
Right.
You say it.
Yeah, and it's beautiful when it lands. It's like, whoa, they
Yeah.
really needed that, and they weren't going to let me sleep until I gave them that. So, all right, we're good. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. And I guess, a great example of that is the divine sweat. So one of the things that you do, and I want to talk more in detail about divine sweat, but at the end of the actual workshop, you place people in, a very quiet position where their eyes are closed, and whoever you're being called to, you go over and you do work on them, right? In many different forms. So that's kind of an example of that. So how does that play out for you?
How it plays out is that I completely just become an instrument for the divine and I get taken to wherever I'm meant to be taken. And it has
Mm,
always worked out beautifully that I never get taken to someone that would be uncomfortable because I do offer people the chance if you don't want to receive, like cross your arms in front of you, we won't come to you. That's rarely happened. People, by the end of the activation, they're just like, they're open and they
yeah.
want to. And the beauty of it too is that everyone's receiving it if I don't go to them, but some people need a little bit more of one-on-one work. And a lot of the work that I do, energy work, it's not something that I got certified in. It's something that I
Right.
gained a remembrance of. It's all, I know that I've done this work lifetimes and lifetimes. And when
Yeah.
I start activating it and remembering it, it was just complete surrender. Don't judge the work and don't even wait to hear if it worked. Because there's a human that wants to be like, oh my God, did you feel like, no, we don't do that. But it's amazing how much it helps people. And I'm just blown away by the fact that my only job was to do the work, to activate my own remembrance in
Mm.
myself and not judge it, not try to interpret it. And I don't even know sometimes what my hands are doing, or if I'm in a smaller space and we decide to channel some codes, I don't know what's coming out of me, but I know that it's from the divine. I know where it's from. I know that I opted to be a conduit for it. And my job is just to bring it to allow it to flow through me. And I
Mhm.
think at the circle, one of the biggest reasons that we do that is because there are women that will not go seek work like that until they even know that it's available to them. There's people that are very much in need of work. They're trying to process the cognitive level. And so for me, I feel like because I do like to bridge worlds and I know that there's an element about me that makes, we'll call it spirituality for lack of a better word, spirituality very user friendly because I don't think I come across as this, person that lives in Bali that doesn't brush their hair. So there's a part of me that makes it like relatable. Like, okay, she wears lipstick and she likes fashion and she used to do that. So and she's doing this, so I can do it. And I know that's one of the ways that I serve is by showing people both worlds. And so having that divine side, which is a little bit of a gateway to the deeper work, because I do deeper work, but I know divine sweat is kind of like the entry portal. And that's a way to kind of infuse some of that and make people know and activate a knowing and potentially a remembrance that we are here to do deeper energy work. And from there, what you do with that is up to you. You can seek more, you can seek your own remembrance, or just receive there. But it's an important part of it.
For sure. And, I'm going to say to you what my kid said to me. I thought that I was like, the normie, right? I was like, nobody knows. I kept it a secret. Like they were, because they were like teenagers and like young teenagers or whatever. And then one of their friends was like, your mother is, has gifts. She's psychic. And they're like, yeah, I think so too. And then they approached me about it because I just never really talked about it. My youngest, I think, was 10 at the time. My oldest was 16 at the time. And they were like, Mom, we know. And, our friends know and whatever. And I was like, well, what do you mean? I was like, I'm a mom. Like I take you to the mall. I drive, I drive you to the
Punch it.
practices. I make you do. And they're like, it's the way that you walk. It's the way that you talk. It's the way that you speak into someone's soul. It's the way that, blah, blah, blah. So, as much as I think yes, I agree with you in the sense that you do make it very digestible because you are very approachable. But at the same time, like your energy is like on fire. You're all of the essence of you is just completely embodied. And like, there's no question. There's no question.
You're like, the jig is up. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Like, you had like 45 feathers in your hair the other day. So like,
That is true. That is true. Well, yeah, there's no hiding it now, but there is a certain ideal too. I think for some people that if they step into this world that they consider quote unquote woo woo, which I don't like the term woo woo. I think this is as real as it gets, that
Yeah.
they're to shed parts of themselves that still enjoys the physicality of the human experience, such as going
Yes.
on happy hour, which is
Yeah.
another reason why I chose to call it wine and spirits. Because I'm like, I'm gonna have my chalice, which I have right here. Maybe one day I'll put wine in it while we talk about spirits. And I think part of the ascension of Christ consciousness is really also understanding that we're doing it in our humanness
Yes.
and we don't have to shame our human. And so, yeah,
Mhm.
occasionally I'll wear lipstick to lead divine sweat, even though it's an energetic workout, because I am embodying the full essence of this experience. And I think that that is something that is important to continue to show people. So, but yeah, you're right. You really can't hide an energy. I do. People do notice energy.
Yeah.
They do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
It was
tell us
our
more.
photo shoot. I have to tell you about this photo shoot.
Oh,
I was
yeah.
doing a photo shoot for my portal cast, and I was doing, I brought my chalice, and I had just done an off the grid experience activating some other gifts, and I've just gone back and I was doing energy work with my hands, and my photographer, I think she liked it, but I think she thought it was kind of posing. And then she's like, do your energy work. And I think she thought I was like, careful what you ask for, because this is not, I'm not posing, I'm expecting. Literally, the wall shook. And then she's like, what was that? I'm like, you asked for energy work. Careful what you ask for. And she's so cute. But she texted me 2 days later. She's like, do I need to be worried? Did something happen to you? No, I'm not a witch. I just, you asked for energy work. Like, I gave it. And
Yeah.
it radiated the energy. I mean, I think some people think it's like AI. I'm like, that's real as it gets because it was the energy that was being photographed.
Yes. Yeah. 100%. That's so cool. Well, and I love like a photographer. They're just like, okay, I'm doing another gig, right?
For energy. I'm like, careful what you ask for. You just might get
That's
it.
right. That's right. No big deal. So tell us about Divine Sweat. First of all, I will have to say to everybody that the whole year was like trying to figure out, you and I were like always trying to coordinate like when you were doing it and if I was going to be in Denver and I kept missing it and kept missing it. So finally in December, I was so excited. I was able to participate in Divine Sweat and it was so, so incredible. But can you tell everyone how you how that came to you and more about Divine Sweat?
Sure. So dance has always been a part of my world. I've loved it. And around the time that I had really done a lot of my work to evolve to a place where I would call myself a spiritual offerings being. The dance was no exception. My guides were like, it's time to really level up your dance offering. I was teaching something different called fierce fitness that I'd created. I had attachment issues to the word fierce, so everything was fierce. So fierce fitness was cardio dance, and it was to empower women and gain confidence, but it was time to evolve that, not shed it, not let it go, but evolve it into something new. And I received the assignment, didn't quite act on it fast enough. This was around 2022. So it was a little bit, I didn't know what to do with it because I didn't know people were even around people. And 2021, I broke my foot running away from a snake. And
Mhm.
I was like, oh my gosh, come to learn snakes and I have a past life connection to our power. And I was in bed and I had to have foot surgery and I just felt really depleted. I was trying to do my dance thing, then COVID hit, and then I wanted to bring it back, but they had a different idea of how I should bring it back. I wasn't quite acting on it, so I was crippled. And I had a chat with my guide and I was like, listen, if you guys help me get out of this one, I will report to mission. I will answer my assignment. So I had the opportunity to apply to lead a workshop at this large summit. A friend sent a thing. She's like, they're taking healing workshop applications. I think you should apply and do a dance thing. And I was one of 200 applicants and I got chosen. And I had 8 weeks from my foot surgery healing, like the first day I could be back at the gym till the workshop to like walk again, work out again and create it. And I did it and I showed up and it was this magical, like showing up for my graduation that the divine had been orchestrating for me. And all I had to do was report to mission and not stay in this, victim mode of I broke my foot and my life sucks and I will never dance again. Like, no, I broke my foot. I will evolve. I will dance with purpose. And that's pretty much how Divine Sweat came to be. Uh,
Yeah, and it really is an activation. And
yes. A lot of the work happens before. And, I don't feel like I really need to announce that too much at the beginning, but I do a lot of energy work so that women go and receive, and it's less about them doing the dance moves. The dance moves are important. We are moving energy, but you're in this bubble of energy that is going to upgrade you and activate you. Some people will receive more the opening meditation, some in the dancing, some maybe at the end. Everybody's going to receive their most potent activation at different parts, but you're going to receive because we create with such intention, and it's energy. Everybody's ready for it.
Yeah.
I hope you come in for the February one. Just
I
saying,
know. I
if
was
you're
just saying,
17.
I know. I know. I was just saying to a friend that I'm like, should I? I don't know. That would be frivolous. But I'm like, oh, we only live once. Yeah, I would love to come. The one that I did on December 2nd with you, and I don't know however many people, 50 other people, 50 other women. Right after I came back, I I've done events before at this particular location, and the general manager, saw me. He was like, "Hey, what do you think about, doing something?" And I said, "Yeah." I said, "But you know what? I used to do expressive dance and ecstatic dance with women as
Oh,
part of trauma healing."
mm,
And I said, I want to do that, which is so out of the box for this particular location and venue. I was like, I'm going to do it. And so I'm doing it. I'm doing it this Sunday. So that was part of the
that's cool.
activation that came
You coming
through
back
from
to
divine
Denver?
step. What?
Are you coming to Denver or in your
No,
town?
in New Jersey. Yeah, in New
Oh,
Jersey. Yeah. So after I came back from Denver and then was in New Jersey, and then I saw it was just like
yeah.
how it happens, right? So it was really something that I had a knowing, and I've been talking to people like over the years about wanting to do it, and then just it all just kind of went boop. Okay, here it is, time to do it. And I posted about it, and within like a few hours, half of the workshop was full within a few hours. and
Well, it
and
was time.
yeah,
Sharon activated. It was time to
it's time.
go and do the thing.
Yeah, it's time, it's so good. So it really does it I guess what I'm trying to say is that what comes through is something that's part of your own essence and being, right? And it just allows the time that was in front of you to just collapse a little bit, where there's
Yeah,
just greater clarity. There's more opportunity for you to say yes to. There's, that kind of thing too, which is so, so wonderful.
yeah,
So good. Feels good.
yeah. I hope I have this whole mindset for 2024 where if it aligns with my mission and purpose, I'm going to say yes. If it doesn't, I'm going to say no. And I'm just really
Mm.
keeping it that simple, which is why I on so many other podcasts already. And, because I'm like, it aligns. I'm launching mine. It's all about the speaking. It's all about the message. It's getting activations going, spoken, dancing, whatever. And then at the same end, I get invitations to for other fashion shows or for, fun. I love fun, but I don't really have time. I have a business, 3 kids, a partner. I don't have time to just go to sometimes and grab coffee and catch up. It needs to align. And so there really is a yes and no power, and just aligning it with the mission and purpose. That's kind of, and then I feel like all the things will show up that are more yeses when you start honoring that system.
Oh, it's so true. It's really so true. It's the distractions that really take your power away,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
And we have so many opportunities for distractions.
Oh my gosh. Yes. And sometimes distractions are fun. Let's not, bash them. But like, I mean, Salwa, you're here to do this. You can't do that because does it align? You only have so much time in the day. Okay. That just makes it so much more simple. It's not personal. It just does not align. I
Yeah.
got another invite to dance in a music video. And I was like, I do dance, but not just to be in a music video. So no, that was easy. I like little things like that, you know?
Yeah, but it doesn't happen that way with a lot of people, right? Where they're just like, oh, um, that's an opportunity. Yes, I'm going to say yes to that, and oh, yes to that, and
Yeah.
um,
Look great on social. Yeah. Okay. That's not why I'm here. Like, no.
right, exactly, exactly. And then, in the beginning, it's kind of hard because when you're just getting started in a new message and a new vehicle to bring something into the world, um, it's not always 100% clear what it is. It's not always 100% clear where the frequency is going to be of this thing, right? And so on and so on and so on. And it takes the consistency, it takes the continuity, it takes the context, right, of purpose. It takes the content of what it is that you're saying yes to over and over and over again to create the clarity, so then people can really truly find you and you can truly be that clear voice, right? So
Totally.
it's
There is power in that self-discovery season, but you have to know when you're not there anymore. Now you're in the implementing and the acting and the mission, and
yeah,
go with it. No one's feelings will be hurt. You're actually inspiring people when you show that you walk with such conviction.
yes, yeah, yeah. It's better to be clear than to be wishy-washy. It really is, right? Like when you don't walk in your own power, you might think that you're pleasing other people and you're softening the, the surface for others, but you're really not. You're really, really not. It's so much better to. So my word for the year, which kind of goes right into this, is truth.
Oh, I love
So
it.
yeah. And so living in your truth and really like, how do you get to the truth, right? You get down to that, the truest of truths. And so 2024, if you reduce the numbers down, it reduces down to eight. Eight is connected to the planet Saturn. Saturn is the wisdom of the gods, right? So like it really is the year of truth. It's the year of walking in our truth. It's the year of speaking our truth. It's the year of being truth, being the vessel of truth, right? And
Yeah,
truth in the way that, Yeshua delivers truth, it has, it can bite a little bit,
right.
right?
And some truths that are not so pretty need to be revealed and will be revealed, I think, this year. And that's going to be uncomfortable for some, but liberating for others. Yeah.
100%. So I think that, when we walk in our purpose and we find what our purpose is, it's not about the shiny object. It's about, the mission, right? And it's so beautiful to see you do it the way that you do it. And I just look at you and I'm like, I'm so inspired by, as you just, come in your own essence. I'm just so inspired by it. And I'm just so grateful that we get to connect in this way because we all are our own beings, right? And I really just, it's nice to see you being in your power in the way that you are. um and and sometimes it comes from like when you had Fierce in the City for 9 years, right? And it was really like a very popular event. I mean, it was like on the top of its game, and
Yeah.
you're like, and this is the last one.
Yeah. And there was no reason that would have been digestible to any fans of the show or people in the show. There was no, other than my mission with it was complete. My guides let me know it's time to complete this one. You're on to a bigger mission. And I had to honor that without having the next step, because part of
Yeah.
that act of faith is what really allowed me to unfold the next. But when we ask for guarantees, we actually do rob ourselves of the divine design. Sometimes you need to honor completion, take a leap into the unknown,
Yeah.
and allow yourself to be surprised. Who doesn't want a surprise? Like if you had told me this, I would be here last February doing all the things I'm doing, I'd be like, get out of here. Like me. And not because I didn't want to, or not because it wasn't in me, but because I would have not known when I had permission to start stepping up in that light. And that was because I was showing up partially still in ways that were expected of me versus ways that actually still were me. I'm like, yeah, no, that was completion. And it was perfect timing. So part of our mission is knowing what is complete and honoring its completion.
Oh God. I'm letting all of these words land really because it's so important. I don't want to just like rush off to the next thing because it's so important for people to understand. Like we honor the beginnings and the endings of things. When
Yeah.
it's complete, right?
Yeah.
And I too, I mean, we are here for this human experience and I'm still navigating, when it's time for a beginning and when it's time for an ending and how I can honor, my own mission more and more and more. And there's so many reasons why you could say, well, but you should probably hang on to it a little longer, or, I just dedicated all of this time, money, energy into a particular thing, right? And whatever. And so
Taboo.
it's not easy.
For
It's
some people, endings are so taboo and darkness is taboo, but we are designed to be a living, human, breathing example of the cosmic laws of the universe. So think of a day like the sun rises and it sets. There's day, there's dark, and that is this balance that we're designed to live out here through our life. So I think completion is beautiful. It's like school. Imagine if we never completed it, but no, we graduate and we celebrate. So why can't we learn to celebrate completion of businesses, of
yeah.
relationships, lifetimes? I mean, really, it's beautiful. Completion is beautiful. I think it says, hey, I got the lesson and the blessing. Next.
Right. Yeah, exactly. And you get to walk in a higher level of understanding and wisdom.
Yeah, totally.
Um,
Like with the portal cast, and I launched that with zero attachments to what the success of it will look like. I just want to give my expression life, and that's all. I am like, let me just upload my downloads and give them life. That is all I'm doing. And would it be awesome to grow it to a point where I can reach more people? Sure. But is
Mhm.
that my why? No. And am I committing to doing it forever? No. I'll see where it is and I'll make a
Mhm.
decision based on what I'm receiving when it's complete and when it's time for the next.
Mm.
And the mindset that is keeping me from turning it into this thing that has to look a certain way and that is competing with others. Instead, I'm like, I'm joining this community with other
Yeah,
podcasters, and this is just like a
100%.
new way to help people. We're
Yes,
just
100%.
better.
Yeah, I know. It's like, welcome, the water's warm. Like, that's good. It gets lonely out here by ourselves in podcast land or whatever it is, right? Like, it
Oh, I
becomes
don't know. I'm one in Portal Cast land, so I'll tell
a
you.
portal cast. Yeah.
Because
It,
I'm like,
it,
this is a lonely world. No, I'm kidding. This is great. No, I love it. So far, I love it. But
it's,
yeah, no attachment to what the
Mhm.
success of it looks like. It might be one episode that I say something that someone needed to hear, and then they go launch something that is like it. I don't know. I'm
Yeah.
open. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I've had, in my coaching and mentoring and therapy and healing work, I've had people that have, I mean, I've ended, sessions and containers and whatever with a family or with an individual. And I think, God, ooh, not really sure how that went. Please help me be better next time, whatever. And years later, I'll get a text message from them or an
Mhm.
email
Mhm.
with something that I've said or the thing that they finally got
Mhm.
and the thing that really changed their life. And it's, to me, it's worth everything.
It is worth
It's
everything.
worth
You
everything.
can't judge the work. That was a big lesson for me. And Divine Sweat helped me with that because I have
Mhm.
hosted smaller intimate groups. And I remember one in particular, and it was this mastermind. And the women were they seemed to me very PC, very like corporate-y. And I was like, oh, I
Mhm.
don't ready for this. And I had to fight the urge to modify. My guides were like, you will change nothing. You judge the room will judge you. I'm like, all right, we will change nothing. And I was leading and I could kind of see, and there was one in particular that stood out to me and I really wasn't sure if she was feeling it. And I learned that day because after she came in and was crying and she was the most touched by it, that we really can't judge the work. And when you're doing God work, think about God sends us things and the God in us, we create these things and we don't even know to appreciate them at the time, but it's after we've received, processed, integrated that we could go thank our divine God self. Thank you for that. Like that is what I needed, but it's so hard sometimes not to want to judge our work, but it's not our work. It's the work of the divine through us.
Exactly. Exactly. I mean, people ask that all the time of me, like, well, how do you know what to do all of the time? I mean, you have so many different variables and so many different scenarios and whatever. How do you know this is true? How do you know blah blah blah? And I'm like, it's not me,
Yeah.
right? I don't go me to you. I go me to source to you. And I can tell when you're not going to your
Mhm.
highest and best before you come to me. Like we must always, that is the recipe for success, for true connection, for compassion, for evolution, for transcendence, all of the things, right? So I can, and it's interesting. I was, scrolling through TikTok or whatever, and they were, or no, Instagram, and there was an example of, it was called called Healing from Healing, right? Is the tagline of this channel, right? And they had all of these like different healing things, right? And so like one person was trying to sell something that was supposed to heal every disease in their body, and you just have to take this pill, you know, and
Um,
just kind of spoofing on things, right? And then another one was like this woman saying, and then I went and I did this, and then I did that to the individual, and then I did this, and then I healed this, and I did that. And I thought, okay, I get it, right? Like it's not, I got the spoof, right? And it's not to say that healing can't happen and we can't facilitate those things, but we do it as the instrument and the conduit. Like it's not a conscious, like, okay, so I'm going to go in and I'm going to go and, do, like, it's not, you just follow, like you said before, like you don't know what your hands are doing. You don't have the time, the codes that are like, you don't know, there's no study book that
no, like Siri, what am I saying?
right.
What? I don't know.
I,
But honestly, I think healing is our own individual journey of remembrance and activation. So if everybody was
yes.
trying to do the same modality the same way, you would rob yourself of that journey too. It's really a designed experience that you created for yourself before showing up here to have these experiences that you would then quote unquote heal and have your own lessons and experiences, and then your own unique medicine is
Mhm.
actually your superpower, your medicine that you use create to heal
Yeah.
yourself.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. And that's one of the reasons why we have the experiences that we have, right? Because the healing that we have done on ourselves helps to open up a greater lens, right? So we can connect more. This is one of the reasons why I love being a global citizen as opposed to, citizen of New Jersey or whatever. It's or even of the United States. Like I think that the more that we can really like broaden our lens and really be able to connect with individuals, other human beings in all walks of life, the better we are to be the better instrument, right?
Yeah. Mhm.
So, and just what you do and how you do it all automatically creates the default for that to happen very easily, very seamlessly, really.
Yeah, and inspires others to do the same for themselves in their
Mhm.
way, with their
Yeah.
codes, not yours.
Yes. Yeah,
Mhm.
100%. So I know that we are nearing the end of our time, which has gone by so fast.
No, whoa.
I know. I wanted to know though, is there anything that you're getting right now as far as, being the instrument and being um the person to help to bridge the two worlds? Is there anything that you feel is very important for our community to hear right now? Is there a message that you feel like is coming through?
Absolutely. So this year, I feel like there's going to be a lot of occurrences that are going to make, like I said in Christine's podcast, weird is the new normal. A lot of occurrences that are going to want to be judged as weird, as strange, as what is happening to our world. And I just want people to really embrace what shows up with zero judgment or construct of what it's supposed to be. And I'm not talking crazy alien things. I'm talking even like your best friend who you didn't even know was into spirituality all of a sudden wants to launch her breathwork business. Support
Mhm.
her. There's little opportunities in the mundane for people to rise. And this is not the time to judge anybody. This is the time to support everybody because people's rise is going to look so different. And you might think that someone's gone off the deep end and is getting weird. I'm telling you, so many people in the beginning of 2024 are going to look so different in the beginning than the end.
Yeah.
And this is not an overnight thing. This is lifetimes. And this is just the permission slip year. This is such a permission slip year. And if you have it in you, step up because you could be someone else's permission slip. I do believe this is such an important year into the new earth that it's going to require people embracing their quote unquote weird, their medicine, and publicly, not behind closed doors, not with the two, three friends that they think will get it. You just share it and you let people receive where they can receive. It's
Oh
kind
my
of really,
gosh.
really important. And I feel like I don't sometimes the biggest judgiest people are the ones that are the most scared because they know that the minute that their friend counterpart rises, it's kind of their turn, and they know that that comes with responsibility. Power comes with responsibility. You don't just ignite your powers without having to step up and show up in a whole new way that requires you to be seen, heard, vulnerable, transparent, but so blessed.
Yeah, I mean, it takes what it takes to transcend all of those things. And sometimes it takes really shedding a lot, changing a lot, changing locations sometimes, right? It doesn't always require that, but
Yeah.
even though we think that we can manage these things and try and just push it away and shove it away and just, it's okay, I'm just going to put it into something else or whatever, it continues to speak. And then it will continue to ask, and then it will continue to create the divine intervention to make it happen. So it's better to just honor it. And yeah, I love that message for 2024. I think it's a perfect message for us. It's really giving us permission to say the things that we need to say, even though sometimes it doesn't make sense as they're even coming out of your own mouth.
Yeah. Right.
You just do it.
Beautiful part is they're probably not, like they are, but they're not. And yeah, permission slip here. This is the divine being like, yes, go, do, and be. And just
Yeah. That's wonderful. Well, thank you so much. Well, I can't wait for our community who don't know you already to get to know you more. And I hope that you all go down on a deep dive on Salwa's website and social media. Not only is she just doing incredible things, but she is aesthetically does beautiful work. Her videos are gorgeous. Her outfits are gorgeous. And a lot of the fashion design that she has created, which I got to shop through the last time I saw you, is gorgeous. And so people can find you on Instagram under Salwa Owens.
yep. And all my other handles are there, and my website has everything. So I'll keep it simple because I already remembering Salwa Owens, I think, is a lot. So
Yeah.
that is the mothership. The mothership, and from there it has all the branches. Yeah.
Yes. And to also check out Wine and Spirits, your new portal cast, which I'm so excited to start to binge on. And in addition to that, Divine Sweat. Are you only doing local Divine Sweat now in Denver, or?
Most definitely open to traveling. I know that if I do out of town activations, I am calling in what I call my Earth Angels, and these are people stationed in different places, putting on their own events that want to bring in something for their programming, because I feel like that's how it's really going to amplify its impact. So I'm open and calling in retreats, summits, whatever you're putting on that you are looking for something truly activating and unique and different. We travel. So I'll bring it to you. Yes.
That's amazing. Yeah. And you also talked about your team. We didn't get a chance to really talk about your team, but Salwa has a team, just like we all have a team. And Salwa speaks, very openly about her team.
I know. I'm starting to think that maybe people think I actually have like a physical team. Like, no, my team, like they're leveled up. They travel light. We just like we travel light. We'll at your house if you want, like in 2 minutes, like whatever. We travel. Yeah.
Traveling light. That's right. Well, thank you so much for coming. It's just always such a joy to be with you, to share space with you, to share energy with you. And I hope that you'll come back again and report back on how Wine and Spirits is doing, and speak to our listeners after they've had a chance to binge on this as well. And for everybody who's joined us today, thank you so much for joining. I just have such a smile in my heart from being with Salwa this hour or so, and I hope that you do too.
Such a light. Thank you. Thanks for
Thank
having me.
you. Lots of love to everyone.